Was Abraham Lincoln a president?
Yes.
Oh, I thought he was just a whatever publical figure.
Welcome back to Delulu Diaries, where the timelines don't match, but the receipts always do. On Wednesday of this week, I published a video that my intention was to ask the question, like, how involved should Mamalynn be in helping Amber to lose weight? Primarily focusing on the fact that Mamalynn takes Amber out to fast food restaurants. And that was triggered by a video that I did where Amber had gone out to eat 3 times in one day. And Mamalynn obviously was the one who drove her to those places. And I got a couple of comments being like, oh, well, like, how could Mamalynn watch Amber get to this size and do nothing? And that kind of got me thinking. And so that's what made me make that video, because I wanted to get some more input from the community. And I feel like I got a lot of a really great input, and my opinion has shifted on the topic. So just as a reminder, in case you're watching this in the future or you missed my initial video, my initial thoughts, first of all, I said like a bunch in that video that I really wasn't sure where I was landing because I was accurate. I just like couldn't really make a distinction on where I landed. But my initial thoughts were pretty much like, at the minimum, Mamalynn should be not willing to take Amber to a buffet, and that ideally she would not be taking Amber out to eat at all. Just because there's other options like hanging out at a family member's house or something like that that they could do. And so I was kind of leaning towards, I don't think that Mamalynn is making very good choices for her daughter. After reading you guys' comments, I have still not formed a like solid, unshakable opinion. However, I do have a better idea of what I feel like is going on. So this is probably gonna be my last video on the topic for quite a while, but I did just want to like give my updated thoughts and opinions, just, you know, to put that out there on my channel. In the comment section of that video, a lot of people brought up the fact that Amberlynn has been known to mistreat people in her life, up to and including threatening self-deletion if things don't go her way, primarily with like the Code Red incident with Destiny. And I totally neglected to connect the dots that Mamalynn had gone through mistreatment with George, and now she's got a daughter who is known to mistreat others as well. And so Mamalynn is probably extra susceptible to that kind of mistreatment. And I apologize for like downplaying this, but obviously I have to play by YouTube's rules of what is safe to say and not say, but it is more serious than what I'm making it sound like. So I thought that was an excellent point, and that immediately made me back off of Mamalynn just a little bit, because I'm like, that is true. Amberlynn is known to be a very good manipulator. We have heard that from so many partners, from friends of Amberlynn. So, you know, I just do want to say that despite us all thinking that Amberlynn has a lot of low IQ moments, it is a very well-established fact that when she wants to turn it on, she can be an excellent manipulator. So thinking about how she probably is treating Mamalynn behind the scenes and the kinds of things that she's saying, even if that's something as simple as Mamalynn saying like, oh, maybe we shouldn't go to the buffet. Maybe we should, you know, eat at a different restaurant or eat at home. And then Amber starts going off and saying something like, oh, well, you know, I already feel bad about my weight, and now you're making me feel bad about my weight and making me feel like everybody thinks this way about me. And like, I just don't know. You have no idea how hard it is to be in a body like mine. I'm stuck at home all the time. I just wanted this one thing, and now I feel like I can't have it. And I just don't know if I should like do something about it, because at this point, like, I'm never going to lose weight. And so what's the point of going on? Obviously, pure speculation. That did not happen. That's not like concrete in stone what happened. But I just want to point out that those are the kind of situations I can see that would lead Mamalynn to just give in. Now, Mamalynn has been back in Amber's life ever since Amber had the cancer situation going on. And so obviously it's not been a long period of time for a mother and daughter to be reconnected, but it hasn't been like super, super short either. So I can see it on both hands, where on the one hand, in a sense, Mamalynn just came back into Amberlynn's life. She doesn't want to upset her, and Amberlynn can really dramatize a situation very easily, even if she doesn't take it all the way to that point. And 2, it is a long enough period where perhaps Mamalynn was trying to be a little bit strict and like set some boundaries for where she would and would not drive Amberlynn in the beginning, but then it came to a point where it's like, okay, well, I can only say it so much. Amber is a full-grown adult. So I do feel like giving Mamalynn a little bit more leeway in that case. Also, Tammy had brought up a really good point, which was that when Amberlynn came to visit Tammy, they went out to do all this really amazing stuff. And then when Amberlynn moved in with Aunt Tammy, she was all of a sudden like, oh my gosh, why is everything so boring? We never go out and do anything, which means that Amber expects every single week or day or whatever to be like a vacation. And so I do think that that contributes to it, where Amber is like thinking that life should be a party. So she's stuck in her house all the time, that she probably does put a lot of pressure on people to get her out of the house and go to places that she wants to go, which is mostly out to eat. So I thought that was another really good point. And then another thing that I wanted to touch on that a couple of people brought up was that going over to other people's houses might not be a choice for a couple of reasons. First of all, the only people whose houses she would be able to go to would be like Grandmalynn or Mamalynn's house. And then this part is going to sound a little like not nice to Amber, and I apologize for that. I'm going to say it as nice as possible, but obviously like there's only so much I can do with a statement like this. We know from Beck's accounts as well as from Destiny's accounts that there have been times that Amber would sit on a piece of furniture and leave behind a stench. So obviously if that's your home, that's not something that you might want to deal with. So that could be a part of the contributing factor. Second of all, Amberlynn did make some accusations, I guess, against Mamalynn's boyfriend, basically like implying that he was into her or something like that. I don't exactly remember what happened with that. I do remember something happening, and I had enough people in my comments being like, oh, well, do you remember when Amber implied that Mamalynn's boyfriend was into her, or implied that Mamalynn's boyfriend wanted to do something with her? And while I do remember like generally something like that happening, I don't remember the details good enough to like really comment on it. But that being said, I do remember something like that happening, and clearly several of you remember that as well. And so if I was Mamalynn's boyfriend, of course, especially given Amber's history of saying accusations on the internet with zero proof or sometimes proof against Amber, I would not want to be in the same house as her or be given any opportunity to be left alone with her. So I think that that's totally fair and valid, and a great reason why Mamalynn might not have Amber over to her house. And then regarding like this could be true at any three of their houses, including Amber's own space, we know that Amber has tantrums. Amber herself has admitted to having tantrums, and she has admitted that BPD tantrums can be scary in her own words. So, it is possible fully that people just don't want to be around her in a place where they can't easily leave. And we know Amber will block doorways. So I can see that being another very valid reason why people would not want to have Amber in their house or go to Amber's house and be alone with her in her house. It does just seem safer to be out in a public space. And so I just thought all of that was worth mentioning, because all of those factors together do make sense as to why Amber would be going out with Mamalynn to restaurants more, because realistically, Amber can't walk around a store, so that's out. We've been having record highs. Somebody said that Amber's whole week in her state was going to be 100 degrees, which she's not going to be able to withstand those temperatures. Most people can't. Pile on a couple 100 pounds of insulation. There's no way she can be outside. So she can't go shopping because she can't walk around. She can't go outside because it's way too hot. She can't really do anything that's not going to have food around, because like she went to the bingo hall. Mamalynn doesn't guarantee whether Amber is going to eat or not eat at the bingo hall. And again, Amber is her own person. Only Amber can change Amber. So, I don't fault Mamalynn for taking Amber to bingo, and she can't control if Amber gets food when she's there or not. So aside from like, somebody said that she could go to the movie theater, which is true, but like also at my movie theater, they have the armrests. Like Amber wouldn't be able to fit in one of those seats. I think most theaters, the armrests go up. So I don't know 100% what the situation would be like on that, but we did watch a retro not that long ago where Amber was literally sat in the aisle instead of in the movie theater chair, maybe because they're uncomfortable for her. But I'm just pointing that all out, that there's really not a lot of places Amber can go besides a restaurant. And so I do want to give some grace on that as well. So I still don't know 100% how I feel, to be quite honest. At the end of the day, I do agree with the general sentiment that Amberlynn is an adult and she is the only one who is ever going to have any say in what she does or does not do. Whether Mamalynn takes her to a restaurant or not, she always has access to DoorDash. She always can eat whatever she wants to at home. I was of the mindset of like, okay, well, why cause more harm if you don't have to, in terms of like taking her to a restaurant? But after reading everybody's responses on Mamalynn having a history of mistreatment, Amber mistreating people around her, and the fact that you can only say so much or like tell somebody, hey, this is bad for you so much, when at the end of the day, I think Mamalynn just wants to reconnect with Amber and not have to worry about being yelled at or dealing with any kind of pushback. So at this point, I'm like, I kind of feel like I have to forgive the taking her out to restaurants. I think that that's more understanding than I originally was thinking it was. The only thing that I still do have a little bit of an issue with Mamalynn is we have seen in the past where Amber will say that Mamalynn had decided to go out for ice cream or was like offering to stop by ice cream and stuff like that on their way back from being out, and Amber would say no. And I don't think that's great to do if it's something that Amber is not herself bringing up, but at the same time, Amber was the one telling those stories, so that could be a total fabrication. And then the other thing was that Mamalynn was at like a Mexican restaurant, was like, oh, I'm probably only gonna eat half of this and then send my leftovers home with Amber. I always send my leftovers home with Amber. And I think that again would be like something that I wouldn't do. But at the same point, like, if you're just resigned to the fact that your daughter will have to hit her rock bottom and address her addiction in her own time, just the same way that you did, then, you know, maybe it makes sense. Mamalynn's just trying to enjoy the time she has with her daughter. So I think that those are my revised thoughts. Feel free, if you have any thoughts and opinions that you have not left on my first video, to comment below and let me know what you guys think about the situation. I don't think I'm going to be talking about this again for quite a while unless Mamalynn comes back on to vlogs or something like that and there's a reason to talk about it. But yeah, I just really go back and forth on this a lot. I do think it's an interesting topic to talk about. If you guys made it this far, I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and you already know, stay Delulu, but not that Delulu. And I'll catch you in the next one.